Welcome to all. Today, I want to start with a wonderful quote. I heard this quote not even such a long time ago, but it resonated with me so much. And this is a quote by Earl Nightingale. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Now, let's break it down. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Now, why is this quote so important for us to understand and for us to apply to our lives? Because of one key word, progressive. In this quote, Earl Nightingale didn't say success is the realization of a worthy ideal. He said success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It's just one word, but the difference is huge. Because if you apply the word progressive, it means you are already a success as soon as you deliberately pursue a worthy ideal. Now, obviously, there is the question of what is your particular ideal, and this is something you ought to go and find for yourself by tasting stuff and through experience, you contrast to likes and dislikes. This is very personal, very subjective, right? But even so, as soon as you go on this journey of finding your purpose, your mission, your goal, your higher calling, so to speak, you're already a success, because that's the definition of success by Earl Nightingale, a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. If we remove the word progressive, we just left with success is the realization of a worthy ideal, which means you are only a success at the end of the trip, at the end of the journey, at the end of your path. So what is left between now and the end? Is it only failure? Is it a good way to go about achieving things, achieving a goal? I think in this sphere of law of attraction, of self-help, self-improvement, bettering, whatever you want to call it, labels don't matter that much. We tend to see things as humans, we tend to see things in black and white. So now I'm here. I want to be here. So I don't like being here, but I like being here. So I'm unhappy here, and I'll be happy here. But what happens in between those two places, right? And the thing is, we forget that the most important thing is from there to there, which is the process, the path, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And what happens between here and there? Are we going to stay miserable? Are we consider ourselves a failure until we reach that goal? Well, that's not a really, really sane way to live a life, let alone have success. Especially when you know that once you have success, you're going to go for something else. So are we doomed to have a bunch of successes in our lives, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the case might be, and the rest of the time, 99.9% of the time, we're doomed to be considered as failure? No, it's not the case. Earl Nightingale, in his amazing conference, lecture, I don't know how he called it, The Stranger's Secret, talked about you are a success as soon as you deliberately choose what you want for your life. What you want for your life might not be as clear, but as soon as you go on this path of deliberately choosing what you want for yourself, you are a success. Success comes before the manifestation, because we have to feel successful before we manifest success. Success is manifestation, and manifestation is success, but we have to feel success right now. And by feeling successful, it means that we deliberately go on a path of our own, not of someone else. And obviously there's mistakes along the way, there's ups and downs, but this is the realization This is the progressive realization, and it's important for us to understand, and it's liberating for us to understand and know this concept, because as soon as we deliberately, it's not about an outcome, it's about it's about a progress. As Abraham Hicks said, this is never over. Manifestation is never over. Think about it. It's never over. You're constantly manifesting and you will never reach an end. There will always be a process. There will always be something else. And maybe it sounds scary, but I think it should be liberating to know this, because it's never over. The progressive realization of an ideal is like you progressively realizing yourself, your purpose, your manifestation. And that can go in so many unlimited, abundant different ways. And the process is the most important thing. And once you realize this, sometimes you will have manifestation goals, and you will realize this ideal, and you realize this ideal over maybe a 10, 20, 30, 40 year period. And then you say, oh my God, I reached this. I had forgotten I wanted this so much, but because you're changing and you progressively realizing yourself. And it is important to focus more on the process than the end goal. Obviously, you want to do your techniques and you want to do your scripting, your visualization, or whatever the case may be. Whatever you choose to do as on the practical side of manifestation, which is techniques, whatever you choose to do, you have to do it, obviously. Scripting, affirmation, whatever you like the most, obviously. Whatever feels better when you do it. So, of course, you want to do this routinely, every day. Every so often, let's put it that way. But the rest is important, because the rest is much more significant when it comes to time, because how many times are you going to do the technique? Once, twice, 3 times a day, 4 times a day? Still, even if you were to do it 10 times a day, there will still be more time where you're not doing a technique than when you are. Even if you were to leave in the end, most of the time, there will still be a lot more time. So what do we do during this time? You live your life. You do what you want to do. You do what makes you feel good, And obviously you cannot feel good 100% of the time. But once you have clarity, the more and more you have clarity, the more and more you're doing what you're supposed to do and what makes your heart sings, the more effortless things will be, and the more you realize progressively your ideal. And you should not focus on the end goal, which is like, I'm going to reach this and I'll be complete. No. We have to be uncomfortable. We have to be comfortable being uncomfortable all along the way, because it's a progressive realization. And we should be happy about the progress we're making. I do Thai boxing, for example. When is the end goal? I can fix an end goal, and I have an end goal. But how do I see progress? Am I going to be miserable all along the way? Let's say I want to be a fighter, or I want to fight. Well, I have to be disciplined enough to train 3, 4, 5, maybe more times a week, do the conditioning, eat well, etc., right? But who am I to judge what goal will be worthwhile or not? This is only me, right? I choose. But at the same time, I don't feel miserable about my training. I mean, sometimes I do, to be honest, but I feel happy about the process and the progress. Because, and this is something I want to share with you guys as well. And not for Thai boxing, because Thai boxing, you have a coach who can tell you you're doing better. You can even see you doing better more easily than if you were to look at your own insights, your consciousness, your awareness. And that is something that I read from Letting Go, the great book by David Hawkins. Progress is subtle, even though it might be significant, but it's subtle. And sometimes it's even hard to see. And he wrote in his book that, generally speaking, when you make progress inside, people will generally tell you because you have a hard time telling for yourself. Why? For a very simple reason, and that was amazing when I read this in his book. Your level of consciousness you had before is no longer here. You are literally a different person. That's a progressive realization of your worthy ideal. And you have left this state of consciousness for a new, more wholesome one, more aligned with who you want to be, your worthy ideal, right? So it's hard to see. It's hard to understand. If you look at your life right now and you were to think about maybe a time when you were depressed, a time when you were super sad, when you were super distraught, desperate even, fearful, etc. Sometimes it's even hard to, you were in this state of consciousness, in this state of mind, but you cannot explain it as much as when you were in it. You cannot really remember the feeling you had with 100% accuracy because it was in the past. It's something that no longer is in you. I should say, no longer in you at the same level and to the same extent it was previously, which is great. That's when you know, when you cannot remember what it was like when you were in this unwholesome state of being. It's great progress. It means you really are in the realization, in the progressive realization of your worthy ideal. And more specifically, when it comes to manifestation, remember one thing. As I said, as Earl Nightingale said, and as I said 5 minutes ago, is the progressive realization and success precedes your manifestation. You must feel successful first to have the success manifest itself in life. Whatever the success might be for you. Relationships, money, a mission in life, sports, whatever. Anything you want. Anything you want success in. Whatever it looks like for you. That's for you to decide. Remember, once you deliberately choose to take that path, you are a success. And the success comes from going after something worthy of an ideal, worthy of what you want. That is a success in and of itself. Let me repeat this. This is the success in and of itself. You know, some people say it's not about what you get in life, it's about who you become. That applies now. Really does. And when you realize this, you will be so grateful and so happy about your process because you are already a success. You have what you want. You are already a success by doing what you're doing, which is discovering a worthy ideal progressively. And I'm sorry to repeat this so much, but it is true. And I have to repeat it so it will sink in your subconscious mind to a certain extent, I hope. So don't worry about this. As soon as you decide, as you deliberately choose your path, you are a success. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow your manifestation comes, what your goals are, what you want to achieve, and how quickly you want to achieve. Be okay with the process. Nothing happens instantaneously. There is a delay. So be okay with the process and remember the success is here first. And the success is generally not something grandiose, not something that will make you feel ecstatic, but you will feel more clarity, more at peace. Your life will become more effortless. You'll wake up happier, you'll fall asleep happier, and you won't have that much disturbance, mental disturbance. Because once you start all these techniques and this disciplining of the mind, your mind follows suit. So you won't have that many contradictory thoughts, that many negative emotions. Not to say that you won't have any, but you will be able to cope with them in an effortless way, in a more natural way, in a more organic way, and more importantly, in a kinder way. And you won't let those negative thoughts and those negative emotions overwhelm you as much as you did previously. Because you understand that they are just emotions. And you won't be scared of them. So when they come, you would dismiss them with kindness. You will just let go and surrender. And they will leave. They will fade away. And they won't come so often. And when they come, just a little bit. There's like a small jab, a small disturbing jab. That you just parry, bob and weave. And it's done, Then you can go for the knockout, Anyway, enough with the sports analogy. But you got the point. I hope you got the point. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That's all. Please like, share, comment if you like the video. If you have any question or if you have something to say, just leave it in the comment box below. It helps me for my next videos. It helps me help you and also help my video go more viral. So I'm very happy about this. If you want more information, I'm Sebastian. Everything is in the description box below. Thank you so much and I'll see you very soon.